Hello YouTubers, here's a spoiler review of Ready Player One. Ready Player One is based on the best-selling novel by Ernest Cline. This is such a wonderful novel, and the film is directed by Steven Spielberg. We have Ty Sheridan as Wade Watts, aka Parzival, Olivia Cook as Artemis, aka Samantha, Lena Waithe as H, aka Helen, with Win Morisaki as Daito, Philip Zhao as Sho, Ben Mendelsohn as Sorrento, T.J. Miller as IROC, Hannah John Kamen as Finale Xandor, Simon Pegg as Ogden Morrow, and Mark Rylance as Halliday and Anarok. That is the cast and crew of Ready Player One. Again, this contains spoilers, so if you want to see a non-spoiler review, go ahead and check out my other review on the channel. Yeah, Ready Player One was a joyride from beginning to end, but it was vastly different from the novel. I did not read the novel when it first came out. It wasn't until recently, actually the day before I saw the movie yesterday, that I finished the novel, just in time for the film. And I must say, with book adaptations, you have to take it with a grain of salt because not all the time do you have 100% accurate adaptations. Not all the time do you have a film that lives up to the book. But compared to the book, I don't know, there's just something about it that's missing. Not only with the character development, but the heart. The heart of it is really gone in the film. One major change is that Artemis, aka Samantha, her and Wade, Parzival, do not meet until the very end in real life. And that's one thing I have to say, I like the actors, but the appearances aren't as they are in the books. You don't have Artemis with brunette hair, blue eyes. They do keep the birthmark, and I'm happy about that because that's such a pivotal characteristic of that character, but Wade is actually a bit more obese. He's actually overweight in the novel, and I kind of like that. I also like that they showed more of him being overweight and really just out of it as far as poverty. He didn't know he was poor until later. And you kind of get that zero to hero syndrome, the hero's journey from the novel, that this nobody was able to accomplish something so great in the Oasis. And I like that. It's just those elements are missing from the book onto the film. They're missing in the film. And Simon Pegg's character, Ogden Morrow, had a bigger part in the third act of the novel. They even have a reference to Real Genius with the bathrobe and bunny slippers. But yeah, he's not featured until the very end. I did like Mark Rylance as Halliday. Originally, Gene Wilder was offered the role. He turned it down before passing away. I can't imagine it. I actually would love to see Gene Wilder as Halliday. That'd be like Willy Wonka in a digital age. I thought that would have been so cool. But Mark Rylance does a great job. In a way, he's like Steve Jobs. And I like the whole token element as far as a coin and the butler being like Simon Pegg's character Morrow. Also, Halliday's journal is something different. In the book, he had the almanac there. And there's a lot of world building that the film is missing from the book with his public schools virtually, or the real world of him helping out people and machines instead of just taking other people's gloves. The aunt was very different too with her boyfriend. Those are two characters that I felt like weren't really truly needed. They were annoying. It really added to his circumstances at home being rough, but I don't know. They didn't really do anything in the film for me, really. We have the characters of Daito and Sho is an 11-year-old boy here. That's just so funny, but Daito does not get killed in this. In the book, they threw him off a balcony, and it was under the order of Sorrento. Oh my god, Ben Mendelsohn as Sorrento is awesome in this. Again, I mentioned my other review. I liked his performances in Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and The Dark Knight Rises, and he really adds a lot more to this. I just wish we got a little bit more of the insults and language from the book, especially where he tells the boardroom of IOI to basically go fuck a duck. That was funny, but you do get that one scene with Chucky. Like, seriously, Chucky appears and the guy's like, oh my god, it's fucking Chucky! That was so hilarious. There's so many pop culture references, whether it be Goro and the Alien reference, him disguising himself as Clark Kent from Superman the movie being mentioned, Dune, Star Wars, RoboCop, Batman, whether it be from the comics, Michael Keaton's Batman, the Arkham Knight, Gundam Wing, Mechagodzilla, the DeLorean. Now, the DeLorean doesn't have the Ghostbuster sticker like in the book, and he has it right off the bat. He doesn't get that till later. But we have that brilliant race scene. I love that. Again, the Jack Slater Schwarzenegger reference, but in the first part in the book, it's actually like a disguised Dungeons and Dragons level. And it was very interesting. It was like with jousting and a whole bunch of different traps, and that's where he meets Artemis. Now, I do like how it's a bit more reciprocated, the relationship back and forth. It's not just a one-way relationship, but I also like the whole mystery of him idolizing this woman, being in love with her practically, but not meeting her in real life until the very end. For some reason, I love the ending better in the book. Everything was building to that moment. It was pivotal. Her appearance, everything was so beautiful. There's just certain moments that were in the book that I wanted to see play out here. And I know it's intellectual property and music. They couldn't have the throne room stuff from Star Wars. But there's that scene with The Shining that's done spectacularly. Really, really good recreation of The Shining. I just wish we got more of the stuff from the book with Flick Sync, where you have a CGI Matthew Broderick and them playing at war games, or Monty Python, the Holy Grail. I really like that aspect. Also, where they had to go to Tyrell Corp and have Blade Runner. Since it's Warner Brothers, I was really shocked that they didn't have that Blade Runner element to the film. That would have been really cool. They even paid homage to it in certain posters. The poster campaign for this film was very well done, but yeah, that first race was just utter insanity. I loved it. The action scenes were done great. The part with the bomb was a bit different, but that was such a crazy sequence where they killed his aunt and the building started crumbling down. Afterwards, that's where the film really shifts, where Samantha Artemis rescues Wade in the real world, and that's where the movie begins to shift really, really different from the book. But I did like the world building better in the book and the schools and him educating himself, the 80s pop culture stuff. But yeah, the Sixers were done very well. Samantha being there at the Loyalty Center was something different too. Wade actually went undercover to find a way to penetrate the shield in the book. So there's just some different things, but it's stuff that they took out that I'm kind of upset about, like Rush music. There's some really badass sequences. Def Leppard, Dirty D's Done Dirt Cheap by AC/DC. Oh, who could forget that moment at the club? You know what I'm talking about. Like to Get to Know You Well by Howard Jones. Can you just imagine that scene play out? Oh my god, such a beautiful scene. But anyway, they have Staying Alive, and as a fan of Saturday Night Fever, I really dug that scene. That was a cool sequence. Almost reminds me of the Hell's Club video on YouTube here, but yeah, that was a really well done sequence. I like it with the outfits, where he tries on Prince's outfit from Purple Rain, and then it's like Michael Jackson Thriller, Punk, and he ends up going with Peter Weller's outfit from Buckaroo Banzai. We also get to see a Mayor Goldie Wilson sign in the room. I also like H, how they did that character. And the Iron Giant, that was different than the Ultraman thing. A lot of the stuff, again, was for rights and time. But I do miss that Dungeons and Dragons element, the friendship you had with Murrow and Halliday in the book, and the relationship to Murrow's wife. That type of stuff I really miss. I was kind of expecting a bigger role from Simon Pegg. And ultimately, I felt like it was missing the heart of the novel that made this story so cool. The third act was really insane, and how he got the coin from playing Pac-Man instead of answering the question in the journal area. That was cool. How something so small saved his life. But I did like the adventure game, because that went back to the first chapter of Ready Player One, or should I say the prologue, where Halliday was explaining why he created the Easter egg in the first place when he first played Atari. And there's a great theme of like, it's not about winning, it's about playing. And ultimately, the abuse of power, whether you're going to use your power for good or bad. Another thing that was different is that I didn't really get the notion that he was going to go back to the Oasis anytime soon. In the movie, you have it end, happy ever after, and they're off Tuesdays and Thursdays. They have to live in the real world. I understand that, but I felt like the effect was greater in the novel with that meeting at the end. Again, certain heart moments. But yeah, that's not to negate this awesome movie. Pop culture references, a soundtrack. I wish they had other songs, like I said earlier, but you have Jump, Van Halen. That's cool. Faith by George Michael. I'm gonna get you one way or another. And you have some notes of the Back to the Future theme. Alan Silvestri did the score for this, and it was a very fantastic score. It really tied in well with the narrative and visuals of this story of Ready Player One. Originally, John Williams was considered, but he was too busy with Star Wars that they got Alan Silvestri, and I think it worked for the best. It's a very well done score. Forgot to mention my other review. The visuals are really well done with motion capture. Probably the best I've seen since Avatar. It feels very much like a video game. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't mind seeing the story of this put into like an online game or even an RPG. I think it'd be pretty awesome. But besides the moments that it misses from this, let me talk more about the movie. I like the 11-year-old there. I like how they trick Sorrento into thinking he's in the real world when he's still in the Oasis. And there's certain scenes of intimidation. Them going after the characters in real life was a lot more intense than it was in the novel. Even though you had people killed in the novel, for some reason that third act really changed it. They weren't at Murrow's place. Instead, they're all in danger on the move. I have to work on my Mario Kart, yo. Yeah, that type of stuff. Very well done. And another thing I thought was missing was the fame reality show aspect. In the book, you had a username there. If they decided to give their real name, they'd be like a reality star and get their 15 seconds of fame. That really felt like the real world and stuff that's wrong with social media and the internet and our digital age right now with people. And I really thought that was conveyed more efficiently in the book than in the film. It's really not explored upon in the film. But it's cool seeing like the PlayStation 4 VR things. Ty Sheridan, I liked his performance as Cyclops. In X-Men Apocalypse, I think he did a good job here. The actors have good chemistry with one another, and they all feel like their characters. Parsifal, of course, being the Knight of the Round Table that found the Holy Grail. Artemis, Huntress. But overall, the changes, you're never going to have a perfect adaptation, but I did feel like this could have been much more. There could have been much more explored with what Warner Brothers owned that was mentioned, the references, certain things play out. Again, the flick sync, I wish that was played out more. You kind of got a taste of that with the Shining sequence, but I really wish it had more of that, the music, and just the heart moments. But yeah, that Shining sequence was pretty batshit crazy. I did like the riddles. They did do away with the gates. They had the keys, but they did away with the gates and kind of shortened everything up. It wasn't just like an RPG. And the third act was a bit different. You still had the catalyst bomb. You still had the fight, the game, but you had Sorrento there and Parsifal fight. That was different. IROC's character was a little bit more in there. But the Zemeckis Cube was cool. And just all around the little references. Ready Player One is a blast, and it's just like a movie buff's wet dream come to life. I mean, if you're into pop culture, 80s music, 70s, 90s, just everything cool and awesome, Ready Player One is like the imagination. It blew out of the mind and went all over the silver screen. And Steven Spielberg, I can't believe he's 71 years old. I could have sworn a 20-year-old made this. He has the mind of a young person, and he even said himself that a young person has to direct this. Well, I'm glad he had a change of heart because Steven Spielberg made one of the best films of his in ages. I like this movie. But it did move really fast. Like the credits felt fast forward at the beginning. Just everything moved really fast in the relationship. But other than that, I thought it was good. As a movie, there's a lot of stuff that I liked better in the book. And I think ultimately I like the book better than the film. That's with a lot of adaptations. But as a movie on its own, if I didn't read the book, it'd be an enjoyable film. But they did, again, kind of Hollywoodize certain things. But it was cool seeing Samantha there at the Loyalty Center instead of Wade and the different things like that. I really did like this movie. It had a lot of good visuals. The world felt real and tangible. You could believe that there was 3 decades of unemployment and just the world's problems got out of hand and people just stopped caring in this type of dystopian future of 2045. And again, in the stacks, he's in Columbus, Ohio, where in the book he was in Oklahoma City, so that's a bit different as well. But yeah, that's just my spoiler thoughts of Ready Player One. I thought it was a fantastic film. If you've seen it, most likely you have if you're watching this, let me know. Do you like the book or do you like the movie more? I like both, but I like the book a lot more. But let me know in the comments below, what did you think of Ready Player One? What are some of your favorite moments? And again, what's your favorite Steven Spielberg film? I mean, just let me know in the comments below. And yeah, that is it for my thoughts of Ready Player One. A very original, unique film, and Ernest Cline did a fantastic job. This is his first novel. And it's cool that he's actually in Austin, Texas. I used to live in Austin, Texas. I'm a Texan, so it's pretty cool having somebody from Texas write an awesome book like this. I want to read his other novel, Armada. And yeah, we'll just have to see where it goes. Maybe there'll be an extended cut. I don't know. But for what we did have, it was so cool seeing so much pop culture. And having Mark Rylance as Anarok was really cool in a Dungeons and Dragons type of wizard way. A lot of it kind of did remind me of Willy Wonka. And I love that whole message at the end in both the novel and film of like, hey, this is great, but you can only find true happiness in reality. Reality is the only place where you can find a decent meal. You know? And the Oasis, even though your imagination comes to life, you can have everything, it's not real. And ultimately, that's a very strong message. As well as, it's not about winning, it's about playing. And also, some games, including the game of life, isn't meant to be a one-player game. Very enjoyable. I can't wait to watch it on Blu-ray, and most of all, just pause it for all the Easter egg references. I love this movie. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 and an A. Those are my thoughts. If you like this video, click the like button, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos.